Brad Williams, Excel Prime. We're going to use if, and we're going to get carried away with an if statement to do what? To add a time penalty based on minutes late. Here, what's critical? We have to build a chart. We have to build stages or minutes late categories. Then we're going to have to enter this penalty, whatever you arbitrarily decide, and whatever minutes late. Doesn't matter. We have this flight and departure time. What we want to do is track, and if the arrival time is late, throw a penalty in there. Otherwise, put a 0. This is just arbitrary information, and we've done this, I don't know how many times, if statements. Keep in mind, we have this name range. Otherwise, this thing would just go nuts. We'd have D10 all over the place, and it's already busy enough. We're going to look at time, D5 to D10. Here is subtracting C from B. Simple, simple, simple. No magic here. These are just serial numbers. Series numbers, serial numbers. Call it what you want. We have numbers. We have this number minus this number. If we're late, well, we want to throw those into a bucket, category, silo, whatever. We're looking at this. We're in between this 21 and 40, so it's 2. If it was, well, what's the threshold? If we're splitting hairs or if we're being perfectionists, what if this was 39.59999? That would still fit in this bucket. At what point does it split? Is it 40 minutes? Is it, well, let's look here. We're going 10, 20, 40, 65. Anything 10 minutes or less, 10 minutes exactly, we're going to give you a 0 penalty. If you're between 10, I don't know at what point Excel splits this. Is it 10.0 and then from that point forward to 20? I'm not going to break out the microscope. If it's between 10 and 20, I know some of you engineers are going to go, we want it to the 10th decimal point. Knock yourself out. It's not going to make that big of a difference here. Between 10.01 and 20, it's 1 point penalty. 20 to 40, it's 2. 40 to 60, it's 3. 60 to 5 is 5, and anything above that, it's going to be 6. Let's not split hairs here. Let's just get through the logic. Other than that, this is just about how well you can type. Because we're using these crazy fixed numbers, you could develop this, my quasi-filtering approach or quasi-filters, and you could put these 10s and 20s and 30s and 40s somewhere else up here, and we could always reference those. But for this example, I wanted to illustrate this. In terms of the if function, I don't think I need to explain that. Here we have this logic test, value of true, value of false. It's going to give us all this other stuff. Then we're going to go to the next if function, logic. There's our logic, value of true, logic, value of false. That's it. Now, my typing is pathetic. The biggest challenge for me here would be just typing this stuff in. But I'm sure there's some excellent typists that could whip this out in about a second and a half. For me, well, anyway, I'm off topic. Read it if you need it. Review the anatomy if you're stumped. Otherwise, there you go. The spill. We have this spill feature. Can we shut the darn thing off? I don't know. Let's see. You're going to get this from time to time. This formula is not supported by some older versions of Excel. Would you like to use this variation instead? Here, you're going to see that Excel is going to throw all of it's that intersection deal. And let's go, go ahead, knock yourself out. And there, if you don't want the spill feature, and you don't want to add the @ sign at every if, you can just throw that intentional error, and Excel will go in and say, All right. You can just copy this down. Copy it down, Control D. We got the same answers, but we're not dealing with that spill. A lot of nuances now with Excel. I'm going to remove this @ sign, and I'm going to let you mess around with it if you want to. Brad Williams, Excel Prime.